Then I might use a gesture, and I'm going to have them just give me a thumbs up if they have a similar denotation and a thumbs down if they don't. And at this point, it's early in the game. I don't care if I'm going to use this because everybody can see it. And I want to build confidence in my students. So I don't really care if they look around and see everybody else and what they're doing. That's fine with me. I just want them to participate in the learning and think, oh, yeah, that has a positive connotation, or that has a negative connotation, and go with that. So then I'm going to continue. Would you rather live in a house or a shack? Which word sounds bigger, the house or a shack? Which word sounds smaller, the house or a shack? Which word sounds nicer? These are all words that are our connotations. So do house and shack have a similar connotation? They did have a similar denotation, but do they have a similar connotation? Again, a quick thumbs up or a thumbs down, but this time I'm going to have them tell me why. So they're going to give me their thumb up or their thumb down, and I'm going to call on maybe 2 or 3 people to just answer very quickly. Hey, tell me why you have your thumb up. Okay, great. Tell me why you have your thumb up. And then something about like, oh, let's see, does everybody agree or disagree? What do you think about it? And that kind of thing. So then I'm going to ask them, which one has a positive connotation, house or shack? Which one has a negative connotation, house or shack? Then I'm going to get individual whiteboards, and I love to use individual whiteboards. If your district does not provide you individual whiteboards, you can always use page protectors, and you just put a white piece of paper in your page protector. Your kids can write on it with a dry erase marker, just wipe it off with their hand. They're going to hold it up. Again, they're going to be participating. This is part of engagement and that learning piece, but it's also going to show you what they're understanding and what they're not understanding. So I might give them all something that they're going to write down on something that I can erase. And then I'm going to have them write down one word that has a positive connotation. So they can use the word challenge. They can use the word house, right? I just want them to hold it up. And then I'm going to give them more examples and have them keep choosing. So here are some more examples. I'm going to say, my new neighbor is a mature woman. My new neighbor is an elderly woman. Which one has a positive connotation? And they're going to write down either mature or elderly, and they're going to hold it up. And I'm going to look and I'm going to know who's answering what and who's understanding and who's not understanding. Okay. I'm going to say the car was economical or the car was cheap. Economical, cheap. Which one has a negative connotation? And again, they're going to write it down on their whiteboard. They're going to hold it up. Now I know if my students are ready to apply this to a text. It's just something that we went over quickly. And I've told them that if it says meaning, they need to look up the dictionary definition and use that. And if it has anything else that talks about how we feel about it, then they're going to have to think about how that meaning is based on the feelings that they get when they read it. They're going to have to look at the context. So these are some of the questions from my text. Which words from paragraph 1 best help the reader understand the meaning of the word soap? So here, because it says meaning, I want them to look it up in the dictionary. So no matter how good their English level is, they're all looking up the word soap, and then they can pick out of these which one is the best. Which word is close to the meaning of try? Again, it says meaning, so they're going to look it up in the dictionary. They look up that word try, and then they're going to see which one of these is closest to that word. In paragraph 4, the word sample means, and I want them to be able to tell me what it means. And so they're going to look up that definition, but they're going to look up the definition based on if there could be sample, like I get a sample in the mail, or it could be, I would like to try a sample of that meal, or I would, here's a sample of the exercise today, something like that. And I want them to tell me the definition. Sometimes in the dictionary, you have 3 definitions for the word sample, and it gives you a sentence. I want them to be able to pick the best one based on the text. And then, does the word real in paragraph 3 have a positive or negative connotation? And now they know that this is feelings, and they're going to have to go back to that chapter and read it, that paragraph, and read it to find out what are the feelings that they get from that context around the word real. So we do the first two together so that I can walk them through that. And I'm going to model my thoughts about what I'm thinking. So again, I'm going to point out all the things that I just told you. I'm going to do that with them. And then I'm going to let them do one that's also a meaning one on their own. And then I'm going to give them some more for connotations. And we're going to do the first two together. And then I'm going to let them do the next one on their own. So a checklist for active monitoring is something our district really pushed. Active monitoring, or I think they call it aggressive monitoring. Like, it really doesn't matter what you call it. The thing is that we need it. Teachers need to know how your students are doing. And so you have to have some kind of paper that you can just, or something on an iPad, whatever you want to do, that you can walk around and monitor and have a record of how your students are doing. And so I make just a simple checklist that looks like this. And I would walk around and check for their understanding. I check one side for denotations, the other side for connotations. They got it. They got it. They didn't. I know who to small group. And at this, I'm going to start with my higher students, because if they don't understand, then nobody understood. Here's a couple other examples. I could also have it's always great to have your kids get up during the lesson. So I could have them get up and take a sticky note and go put it. Maybe their sticky note is for, if they think it's a connotation, a positive or negative. And so they have to put positive on it and put it up there, or negative and put it up there. When teaching nouns, verbs, and adjectives, I could have 3 columns on the board, and they have to give me, maybe I give them a word on a sticky note and they have to go put it under the spot where, under the noun category or under the verb category. Maybe students go to I think I just explained that, but so you can do that with sticky notes. You can do a visual representation. One time I was teaching and we were talking about the water supplied through a network of pipes, and this student drew a visual, and this is how she can remember what we were talking about. And maybe as we went through the process, you have them draw a picture of what that looks like to them and label it. And that could be a visual representation. I want to tell you that my references today, I worked with Dr. Gina Petrie, and she created a content and language course that I got to use her materials and to teach my classes. And so I took them and made them what I wanted them to be, but my information came from her. And these were her references that she used. So I want to make sure to share those with you. So I hope that this is helpful. The thing that you need to know is that summative assessment, it is too late to change the way that you taught it. You can only change it for your students for the next year. But for your students now and in the moment, you use these strategies to know how your students are going to do. So when you give them their weekly test, or when you give them their Power DOL, you already know which students are going to understand and which ones did not. And so you keep using different types of quick assessment while you're teaching to have them tell you and show you that they understand. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Thanks.